everyone, Snitches here from Retro and Remastered, and I just wanted to give my impressions of the RE-verse beta now that it's kind of been shut down. I sat down finally playing it yesterday, and a day before it went down. I probably should have jumped in earlier, but this wasn't something I was really looking forward to. I've actually been really critical of Resident Evil 8, mostly because of my opinions of Resident Evil 3. I really feel like Mastermind was just kind of thrown in there because they knew nobody would really play it or buy it if it was really standalone, and that RE3 really wasn't worth $60. And that's kind of what I'm feeling is going to end up happening with Resident Evil 8, is I'm worried it's going to end up being really short or just not worth the, I guess, $60 or $70 price tag it's going to be coming with, at least on the PlayStation 5, and that RE-verse is just basically being thrown in there to pad it out and actually make it worth that money if you think it would be worth it. So, as I said, I was playing it just a little bit, and, I'm going to list off some pros and some cons, and I'll leave you with, some straight unedited gameplay footage of it. So, as stated before, the RE-verse beta has actually been shut down. It only had one game mode, and that was basically deathmatch. And let's just say that this might not be the mode people are playing, assuming there's going to be other ones. I'm hoping that there's other ones. This isn't really the greatest way to test it. I think this is just to get easy numbers and just easy gameplay out there just so that they can test characters' abilities and things like that. So you start out playing with 6 basically hero characters, human characters, and those are Chris Redfield, Hunk, Leon Kennedy, Ada Wong, Jill Valentine, and Claire Redfield. And I've got things to say about Claire, but I'm going to save that until later. And then, what is it? 5 bioweapons. So you have the Fat Mold from Resident Evil 7, the Hunter Gamma from Resident Evil 3 Remake, Jack Baker from Resident Evil 7, Nemesis from the Resident Evil 3 Remake, and Super Tyrant from the Resident Evil 2. So, as I said before, that this is basically a deathmatch mode, and it does have its own little variants in it. Each character kind of comes equipped like they would in a Mercenaries mode, so they each get a primary and a secondary weapon, being in most cases a handgun and some fully automatic weapon, with Leon and Ada being, I believe, the only exceptions. Leon carries a shotgun and Ada has her crossbow. And how it works is, you start the match, timer goes, you're trying to kill other players while also collecting virus samples. And what happens is when you die as a player, you then come back as a bioweapon and your health is continuously, taking a hit as you're just moving around on top of taking damage. When you die, then you respawn as a hero. Okay, so let's just kind of sit down and do some pros and cons of this. Pros, it's honestly, it's not horrible. It's not complete garbage. I know the general consensus when they announced this and they showed people fighting is that it's like, oh, this looks like trash. This looks horrible. It's not amazing. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not this mode. I don't think it's going to kick off unless they do some major fixes to this game. But for what it was in the beta, it wasn't horrible. It was actually kind of fun. I got some enjoyment out of it for like my 20 or 30-ish matches that I actually put into it. And, there is decent character selection for it. You get, 6 and 5. I will say this. I don't think we're going to see anybody pre-Resident Evil 7. Basically, if they haven't been used in the RE engine, they're probably not going to appear in this. So, no Barry, no Wesker. I don't think, has Wesker actually been shown in the remakes at all? I don't think they've actually shown him. I mean, if he is, then there's a chance he can be in there, but no Krauser. So, that's kind of a negative to it. There's going to be a lot of fan-favorite characters who just aren't going to make an appearance unless they do appear in 8. Now let's kind of move on to the cons real quick. And, I already mentioned the character selection is, kind of eh. And, the other thing is just general balancing. This is not a balanced game. Not in any way. Not in the game mode, not in the character selection. So like I said before, I'm going to go back and talk about Claire. Claire was who my primary became when I finally, gave her a shot. And it, each character has their abilities and even tells you what their survivability is in it. And I tried doing additional research, seeing what, other people were saying online or checking some wikis and things like that. And the general consensus that I'm seeing with Claire is that she's supposed to be a very defensive player. Her weapon is her, I forget what it is. It's the old Western, single action army revolver. and a little submachine gun. But her secondary abilities are what make her amazing. Her passive is whenever she does a dodge, she automatically reloads that revolver. So you're just going to see people dodging like crazy in it, as they should. She has the ability to heal stamina and health, which is something that I think technically Leon has the ability to do, and Ada, I think, just recovers stamina. So in a game where it doesn't have regenerating health, that is, that's a game changer. Of course, people are going to use the person who can self-heal, and it's not like this is on a cooldown of like 1 minute. No, like you can easily stack these things. And her most powerful ability, in my opinion, is this little electrical grenade that she can do that she throws out, and it just stuns and does a tiny little bit of damage. But that stun is so long that if you stun someone, you will kill them 100%. The standard low-level bioweapon, the Fat Mold, you will kill them. Even characters that I would want to say an entire clip of that submachine gun into would not kill, you will kill them because you have more than enough time to unload it, switch to her secondary sidearm, and finish them off. And you still have enough time to run away, respawning as a bioweapon or in your human state. You do have a temporary, invul state. More than enough time to run away, reload, and come back and re-stun them again and just end them. And, the balancing in itself does the bioweapons I do think are a bit more balanced. So, as I stated before, you go around and you collect virus samples. At 0 virus samples before your death, you come back as a Fat Mold. Kind of a useless thing. Not going to say you can't get kills with them, but it feels a bit more like luck. If you're slow, only have a close range attack, your special is the ability to charge or self-destruct, which can cause damage and can, to my knowledge, prevent an opponent from getting a kill on you if you activate it. One virus sample can allow you to turn into the Hunter Gamma or Jack Baker. I feel like these should be set. Like, it shouldn't be a random thing. Like, you should, when you're selecting your character, select which thing goes in each chunk. Because Jack, massively better than Hunter Gamma. You want to be Jack if you only have one of those because he's relatively quick, he deals a lot of damage, he stuns. The Hunter Gamma can stun too, but if you're comparing them, Hunter Gamma's kind of trash. At least whenever I've tried using him. I could just, understand his playstyle. And then with 2 virus samples, you get the option between Nemesis or the Super Tyrant. These are both pretty well balanced with each other for it. The Tyrant, in my opinion, is better, even though he only has close range options. But he, to my knowledge, I've done it a few times, he can just straight up one-shot people if you land his, charge ability that he had in Resident Evil 2. Nemesis is pretty good. He can stun, he's got some range, he can pull out that rocket and fire it at people. It's great. The problem with the bioweapons, though, is that, if you're killed, it shows you who killed you. You get more points if you kill them back. Again, the problem is that any person that's a bioweapon can see the other human players through the wall. It says heat signatures, but it's basically just an outline. The really big issue is that, let's say you get killed by someone and then they get killed and they're both bioweapons. That still stands if they're a bioweapon. So bioweapons are killing other bioweapons, and that makes no sense. So in a lot of cases, you'll either see a bunch of bioweapons just gang up on one player to try and, get those points, and then they just start fighting each other, and it just becomes this giant clusterfuck of a mess. I don't know, just with me, that does not seem to fit. Like, I don't know why the bioweapons would be fighting each other to that much of an extent. I know you get less points for kills as a bioweapon, but the fact that if you're a Tyrant, you should be able to take out most things. I think the only one that'll be a threat to you would be Nemesis and maybe Jack. But if Jack has taken any damage, you will take them out. That's really it. Like I said, it's just kind of a messy, unbalanced mess. Essentially, I kept seeing the same block of people always show up in the top 3 in the match. And in more than one occasion, I actually saw a series of 3 Claires appear in the top 3. All of them were pretty much female characters on top of that. Like, I was always seeing at least Ada, Claire, maybe Jill, the only exception really being Hunk. Nobody played Leon. I ran into a few people playing Chris, and Chris had some decent abilities, but nothing compared to Claire. So Claire needs some massive balancing, and they need to balance her in the way that players play, not how they want players to play. But that's it. There's not a ton to say. There wasn't a ton to the beta, so there's not really a ton to say about it. It needs a lot of work, but there could be a fun game mode in there. Just the only other thing I can say is that it's not Mercenaries. So if you're wanting something like that, you're not going to get it. Hopefully, there's a Mercenaries like mode. They're halfway to it there, just with the hero abilities that are in it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave you guys off with some unedited gameplay of this, probably 2 rounds. So if you didn't get to play, you can actually see what it's like in action. I believe both of these will be me playing as Claire, so you can see exactly what I'm saying and how she works. But goodbye everyone. I hope you enjoyed this.